Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds. Fulham star and Liverpool transfer target Antonee Robinson has been quizzed on his toughest Premier League opponents. The 27-year-old left-back has been in excellent form this season with 10 assists to his name. Robinson's dazzling displays in the top flight have turned a number of heads, with Liverpool boss Arneslot reportedly among those interested in acquiring his services. The English-born American international has now revealed which players are the most difficult to defend against. Robinson picked Aston Villa winger Leon Bailey and Chelsea's Cole Palmer and Man City ace Bernardo Silva as the trickiest attackers he's faced. However, despite being linked with a move to Liverpool, Robinson said he would not include Mo Salah on that list. Meanwhile, Arsenal's Bukayo Saka is another player he said he felt relatively comfortable dealing with. Fulham's Robinson made the surprising revelation in a chat with ex-Manchester United and Wrexham goalkeeper Ben Foster on his Fozcast podcast. He said, "I'd say Leon Bailey's up there. He's very hard to play against. He's direct. He's a threat. He can take it on both sides, so that's tough. I feel like most people expect you to say Salah or Saka, but while I've been in the Prem, most of the time I've played well against them. It's usually players like Cole Palmer. If I'm playing against him, he's just taking up positions that I don't want to go in." He added, "It's the same thing with Bernardo Silva. During our game against City, we should have won there. We should have won, but I feel like that was one of my worst games this season because I couldn't really get to grips with where Silva was taking me on the pitch." Robinson previously missed out on a dream move to AC Milan in 2020 after a serious heart condition was detected during his medical. The issue was later resolved after he reduced his caffeine intake, and a switch from Wigan to Fulham followed in August that year for £2 million. Robinson's worth has soared in the following years, and he is now valued at approximately £40 million. His comments on Salah were made after he impressed during Fulham's 2-2 draw at Anfield in the Premier League in December. Robinson told Match of the Day after the game that he believed he generally coped well with Salah's trickery, despite admitting to finding it difficult at times. He said, "I felt like Salah was getting the better of me in the first half. I was on a booking, but I felt more myself in the second half." Liverpool were tipped to make a move for Robinson during the January transfer window. Sky Sports pundit and Anfield legend Jamie Carragher was among the figures who urged the club to chase his signature, but a deal failed to materialise. Robinson himself previously admitted he would be willing to leave Craven Cottage. Addressing the transfer interest, he told Marca, "I'm very happy here. The fact that there is interest from other teams is great. Obviously, it all comes down to whether someone wants me enough to pay what Fulham would ask, so if the club sees it as a good idea, I would leave." Meanwhile, despite dealing with the threat posed by Salah admirably in the past, Robinson made it clear to Foster that he's still a tricky opponent to play against. He said with Salah, "I'm not saying it's easy, but you know what you're getting in terms of the wing play. Palmer and Silva are finding those pockets and pulling the strings in a different way. At the same time, most of the games that I've played against Salah or Saka, even if I've played really well, they'll still pop up and get a goal or an assist." Robinson added, "Whether they were up against me at that moment or not, they'll get something and they're the most annoying players." Gary Lineker is convinced Mohamed Salah will pen a new Liverpool contract after spotting some vital clues in his behaviour. With his current deal due to expire this summer, uncertainty over Salah's future, plus that of fellow out-of-contract stars, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, has been an unwanted sideshow amid Arne Slot's superb first season at the helm. Salah, who has been linked with a move to the Saudi Pro League, has been very open about his situation, suggesting on several occasions that this could be a final season at Anfield. However, after a private chat with the Egyptian, Lineker is convinced he will stay put. Speaking on his The Rest is Football podcast, Lineker said, "I've got a feeling he will sign a new contract." After Alan Shearer agreed, the former Everton striker added, "It's just too quiet. I'd think there'd be speculation. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. especially the way he jokes about things as well. You don't do that if you're going to bugger off. I might be wrong, but I sense he'll stay. Shearer added, I'm with you. I'd be absolutely amazed if Liverpool don't sign him up for another couple of years. Last month, while visiting the Reds' training ground to interview Slot, Lineker had a chance meeting with Salah, who gave a fascinating insight into his mindset. Following the chat, Lineker said, he's a lovely guy. I spent 10 minutes with him when I went to visit Arneslot. Shearer asked, did you not get it out of him whether he's staying or going or not? Lineker replied, I didn't, no. He was just being funny. He asked me, how old were you when you finished? And I said, well, English football. I finished when I was 32, and then I went to play in Japan for a couple of years. And he went, ah, you went for the money, did you? And I said, well, yeah, I suppose so. And he went, yeah, I might do the same. He then winked at the press guy that was there. It was just a joke, but he has got that cheeky sense of humour. Mohamed Salah has lit the touch paper for Sunday's crunch showdown between Manchester City and Liverpool by claiming Erling Haaland has it easy where scoring goals is concerned. The Egyptian attacker leads the Premier League Golden Boot race with 24, 5 better than Haaland's 19, whilst also boasting an incredible 15 assists in the top flight this season. And in a light-hearted pre-match dig at the City striker, Salah claims his numbers carry more weight than his rivals given he operates from the flank. He said of Haaland during an interview with Sky Germany, I respect him a lot. We may have only spoken once after the last game, but he's a striker, so his life is easier. I wish him all the best, of course. But his life is easy because he plays as a striker. As a winger, getting that kind of quota is pretty difficult. Any winger can tell you that. That's why I see it differently between us, because he's a striker and I'm a winger. Salah scored and assisted in midweek in the 2-2 draw at Aston Villa, meaning he now has 49 goal contributions, 29 goals, and 20 assists in all competitions this term. Meanwhile, Haaland was an unused substitute on Wednesday night as City were dumped out of the Champions League following their 3-1 playoff second-leg defeat at the Bernabeu. The 24-year-old, who raised concerns over his fitness during private dialogue with Pep Guardiola on the morning of the match, remains a doubt to face Liverpool due to a knee issue. Salah is set to lock horns with international teammate Omar Marmoush at the Etihad following his £59 million January switch from Eintracht Frankfurt. Marmoush rattled in an impressive hat-trick last weekend as City demolished Newcastle 4-0. Liverpool's talisman said of his compatriot, he's like a little brother. I told him that I'm always there if he needs anything. We've written to each other a few times and we've always spoken to each other in the national team. Our relationship is good. Salah, who is out of contract at the end of the season, revealed he was surprised by Arne Slot's instant impact at Anfield following the departure of Jurgen Klopp. He said of the Dutchman, I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. But the coach hasn't changed that much for us. He likes counter-pressing, we still play on the counter, but he wants us to have more control of the ball. So, it's a little different, but I don't see a very big difference. Liverpool and Arsenal's draw for the rest of the Champions League knockouts looks set to hand the Premier League an extra place in next year's competition. With Europe's top club competition being expanded from this season, additional qualification spots are on offer. 3 English clubs remain in the knockouts, with Aston Villa joining Liverpool and the Gunners. The Reds face a difficult draw against Paris Saint-Germain, while Arsenal will face PSV Eindhoven, and Aston Villa will take on Club Brugge. The trio have all ended up on the same side of the draw. That means Liverpool could take on Villa in the quarter-finals, and one of those two sides could face the Gunners in the semi-final. If the 3 teams do make it into the last 8, that would boost England's coefficient ranking. Regardless of competition, each win is worth 2 coefficient points. A draw gets you 1 point, and you get nothing for a defeat. If a match goes to extra time, the score after 120 minutes is used. So, penalties are not taken into account if the game is drawn, as they are used to determine the tie rather than the individual match. England currently leads the way with 106.6 points, with Italy second on 93.4 and Spain third on 89.1. An extra Champions League place will be awarded to the top 2 countries in those rankings. Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid have been drawn together for the last 16, with Bayern Munich facing Bayer Leverkusen. That deals a serious blow to both Spain and Germany's hopes of rising up the coefficient rankings. Germany currently sit 4th, with Borussia Dortmund their final representative in the knockout stages. For Spain to overtake England in the rankings, they would likely need one of their clubs to win the Champions League, and hope English sides do not reach the latter stages. The points earned by clubs from the same domestic league are added up and divided by the number of clubs the league has in Europe. England and Spain have 7, while Italy has 8. Manchester United and Tottenham have reached the last 16 of the Europa League, while Chelsea have made it to the same stage of the Conference League. Bonus points are also available to clubs playing in the Champions League. England have an advantage with 3 teams left, particularly as Liverpool could play Villa in the quarter-final to guarantee at least one English club in the semis. If England are awarded an additional place, that would mean 5 teams qualify for the Champions League next season. That extra place would be handed to the team finishing 5th in the Premier League, currently Bournemouth. Last season, it was the Bundesliga and Serie A, which received the extra places, with Borussia Dortmund and Bologna the beneficiaries. If Italy again receives an additional spot, Lazio would receive it as they sit 5th in Serie A.